If you're between 55 and 65, this may change the way you think. Have you ever had a moment when you looked at your life and you thought, is this it? I have. In fact, I can remember sitting on the floor of my closet feeling like life had passed me by. Not because I was old, because I had stopped believing something different was possible. Even if you're younger or older than that, stay with me, because this isn't really about age. It's about the moment we decide our life is already written. So I want to ask you a question. Who decided your life was supposed to slow down now? Seriously, who told you that your best years are behind you? Who told you that dreaming is for younger people? Who told you that because you've made mistakes, missed opportunities, or taken a few wrong turns, that your future has somehow been reduced? Because I hear people say things like this all the time. I'm too old. It's too late for me. If only I had known then what I know now. And listen, I understand that. I really, really do. But what if the thing that's holding you back isn't your age? What if it's the story that you've been telling yourself about your age? So let's think about that. You see, I teach people that behavior is always the result of a paradigm. And a paradigm is a collection of beliefs, habits, and ideas that have been programmed into your subconscious mind. It controls how you see yourself, what you believe is possible, and ultimately the results you create. If you've spent years telling yourself that life is winding down, your subconscious mind will happily create evidence to support that belief. Not because it's true, but because that's what you programmed it to look for. The truth is that many people between 55 and 65 aren't struggling because they're getting older. They're struggling because they've unconsciously accepted an identity that no longer serves them. So today, I want to talk about 7 ways people think during this stage of life, and more importantly, how changing your thinking can completely change your experience. Because the years between 55 and 65 are not the end of the story. In many ways, they can be the beginning of the most authentic chapter of your life. Number 1. Stop living in the past. One of the biggest traps people fall into at this age is spending too much time looking backwards. I wish I had taken that opportunity. I wish I had left that relationship sooner. I wish I had saved more money. I wish I had believed in myself. Have you noticed how exhausting those 2 words are? I wish. The problem is that every time you replay the past, you're asking the old version of yourself for advice about your future, but you're not that person anymore. You made those decisions with the awareness, beliefs, and understanding you had at the time. The past only has power if you keep consulting it. People who live in peace understanding something important. That was then, and this is now. And who I am now gets to decide what happens next. The question is not, what should I have done? The question is, what will I do now? Because your future is still being written. Number 2, stop calling yourself old. This one is huge. People wake up in the morning and immediately start rehearsing old age. My back hurts. I'm getting forgetful. I don't have the energy I used to. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying your body doesn't change. Of course it does. But what you repeatedly tell yourself matters. Your subconscious mind is always listening. And if you continually tell yourself that you're declining, slowing down, and running out of time, your behavior will begin to reflect that belief. Because what happens? You stop learning, you stop growing, you stop trying, and you stop dreaming. Not because you can't, because you've decided that you shouldn't. I prefer a different perspective. You are experienced, not finished. You don't stop growing because you reach a certain age. You stop growing when you decide you've seen all there is to see. And that can happen at any age. The day you stop learning is the day you become old. I know people in their 70s who are alive with purpose. And I know people in their 30s who have already given up. Age is not the determining factor. Identity is. So number 3, stop comparing your life to everyone else's. This one steals more joy than almost anything else. You see, someone who retired comfortably, someone whose children seem successful, someone who travels more, someone who looks younger. Before you know it, you're measuring your life against theirs. But here's the problem. Someone else's life has absolutely nothing to do with yours. We are all operating from different paradigms, different experiences, different starting points, different opportunities, different lessons. Comparing is a game you can never win because there will always be someone who appears to have more. The only person worth comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you becoming more of who you want to be? Are you learning? Are you growing? Living more intentionally? That's what matters. The moment you stop competing with the world, something wonderful happens. You finally become available for your own life. So number 4, practice gratitude differently. Now, you've probably heard people talk about gratitude before, but I want you to think about it a little differently. Gratitude isn't something you do because life is perfect. Gratitude changes the lens through which you see life. Most people spend their days focusing on what's missing, the money they didn't have, the money they don't have, the opportunities they missed, the health challenge that they're facing, the relationship they wish were different. And because the brain is programmed to find what it's looking for, it finds more evidence of lack. But when you consciously choose gratitude, you're giving your mind new instructions. You're telling it what to notice. The smell of your morning coffee, one of my favorite things. A conversation with someone you love. The sunshine coming through the window. The fact that you're here, alive, breathing, still growing. Gratitude doesn't ignore problems. It simply refuses to make them the whole story. Number 5, stop letting fear drive the bus. Fear is normal. Let's be honest. At this stage of life, many people have concerns. Health, money, retirement, family, the future. Fear will visit everyone. But fear is a terrible driver. If fear is making your decisions, you're not really living. You're reacting. People often tell me they want confidence. But confidence doesn't mean the absence of fear. Confidence means moving forward even when fear is present. The people who live in peace don't eliminate fear. They simply stop taking orders from it. They focus on what they can control. Their attitude, their actions, their habits, their relationships, and they let go of the rest. Not because they don't care, because they understand that worry has never improved an outcome. Number 6, nurture the relationships that matter. One of the greatest regrets people have later in life isn't about money, it's about connection. People, love, friendship, family. Yet many people slowly isolate themselves. They stop reaching out, stop making the phone calls, stop saying how they feel, stop meeting new people. Human beings are wired for connection. We need each other. The people who experience the most peace continue investing in relationships. They tell people they love them. They make the phone call. They forgive. They apologize when necessary, but they also understand something equally important. Not every relationship deserves unlimited access to your life. Some people drain your energy. Some people repeatedly hurt you. Some people only show up when they need something. Wisdom is knowing the difference. At this stage of your life, your peace is valuable, so protect it. Number 7, finally get to know yourself. This might be the most important point of all. Many people spend decades living for everyone else, for their children, for their spouse, for the job, for the expectations of society. And then one day, life becomes quieter and they're left wondering, who am I? What do I actually enjoy? What do I want? What makes me come alive? Those are powerful questions, because underneath all the roles you've played is a person who still has dreams, still has desires, still has gifts to share. This is the perfect time to rediscover that person. Maybe there's something you've always wanted to learn, a place you've always wanted to visit, maybe a business you've wanted to start, or a hobby you've wanted to explore. Do it. Not because anyone else approves, not because anyone else understands, because it's your life and you've earned the right to live it authentically. And this is my final thoughts. If there is one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Your life is not over. Your story is not finished. You are not stuck because of your age. You are only stuck if you continue to identify with the person you've been. The woman or man who created yesterday does not have to be the person who creates tomorrow. You can make a new decision today. You can choose a new way of thinking today. You can decide that the next chapter will be the most meaningful chapter of your life. Not because life suddenly changes, but because you changed. And when you change, your world changes with you. So tomorrow morning, before your feet hit the floor, ask yourself one simple question. Who do I want to be today? Not yesterday, not 20 years ago, today. Because your future isn't determined by your age. It's determined by the identity you choose to live from. And that choice is yours. If this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What chapter am I ready to begin? I would love to hear your answers. And until next time, remember, you are never too old to choose a new path.